Hey, what's up, you scruffy nerf herders, and welcome to Screen Rant. I'm Greg Elliott, and the Star Wars timeline, as you know, started a long time ago, etc., and the whole timeline of all the Star Wars films so far, starting with The Phantom Menace, takes place over just under 70 years in Star Wars time. And the question that we're here to answer today is, when exactly is The Rise of Skywalker set in the timeline, and how long after The Last Jedi does it take place? Well, I'm glad you asked, thanks. Well, here's how Star Wars time works. They've now officially divided the Star Wars timeline into 3 eras, each one roughly corresponding to one of the trilogies. Episodes 1 through 3 take place during what they now call the Age of Republic, 4 through 6 are the Age of Rebellion, and 7 and 9 are now referred to as the Age of Resistance. Years in the Star Wars universe are typically dated in relation to the Battle of Yavin 4, which is, that big battle against the Death Star at the end of A New Hope. So everything in Star Wars is either BBY before the Battle of Yavin or ABY after the Battle of Yavin. The prequel trilogy starts off in 32 BBY, and the events of A New Hope obviously put it square in the middle of 0 BBY and 0 ABY. The more you know, right? The Age of Resistance began in 34 ABY with the events of The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, which left off with Kylo Ren killing Snoke and taking over as Supreme Leader, and Luke sacrificing himself so the Resistance could escape and survive. And thanks to the new Galaxy's Edge theme park at Disneyland and Disney World, we now know some of what's taken place in between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. So let's get up to speed. Thanks to the theme park and its tie-in novels and comics, we now know that Leia has sent operatives across the galaxy to create a network of Resistance cells, one of which is on Batuu, the planet featured in Galaxy's Edge. There, the Resistance's top spy, Vi Maradi, keeps Leia updated on progress, but things are going pretty slowly and there's just not enough resources to go around. Kylo Ren and the First Order are still spreading across the galaxy and hunting the Resistance, and when word reaches them that Vi Maradi has been spotted on Batuu, they arrive in force, with Kylo personally supervising the operation. He's also actively searching for any Force-related artifacts, whether they be Jedi or Sith in nature, something that I'm sure is going to come into play in the next film. So all the Galaxy's Edge stuff takes place about 5 months after The Last Jedi, and we know that The Rise of Skywalker happens about 7 months after that, which means it takes place in 35 ABY, pretty much 1 full year after the events of The Last Jedi, and also the furthest we've ever been in the Star Wars timeline. But could The Rise of Skywalker, and by extension the end of the entire Skywalker saga, actually end just a bit further down the line than that? Check this out. If you look at the recently released official timeline of the Star Wars saga, starting with The Phantom Menace at year 1, you'll see that the sequel trilogy all take place around year 66 and 67, which does follow the timeline we've been discussing. But notice the timeline continues for another 13 years after that. Seems kind of strange, right? Well, it could be that there are some as-of-yet unannounced movies or shows that'll take place in the timeline after the sequel trilogy, but I think this is supposed to be it for the Skywalker saga. I do think that those 13 extra dashes were put there intentionally, so it might be that The Rise of Skywalker ends with some kind of fast-forward or epilogue 13 years after the events of the film. Who knows, maybe we'll see R2 and 3PO, the only characters to appear in every single movie except for Solo, sitting around some kind of digital campfire regaling an audience with the 80-year tale of Anakin Skywalker and his descendants, which would conveniently explain the story being framed as a long time ago. Anyway, we'll keep you posted on anything we learn before December, so make sure to keep coming back to Screen Rant to stay in the know, guys. I'm Greg Elliott, and I'm out. Peace.